Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now we need to prepare for what is coming next, as the price of Bitcoin just confirmed a new bullish price target with this latest breakout, as a massive bullish signal is still flashing on this Bitcoin chart, while Ethereum is potentially getting much closer to a major bullish breakout, especially if history is any indication, which I'll talk about later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now nothing much has changed over the last 1 day on this time frame. So getting straight into the 2-day time frame, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still forming this massive descending broadening wedge pattern, which could potentially be a bullish pattern with a bullish price target if we confirm a breakout above this resistance, which is sitting at around 68,500. But until we see a breakout above that resistance, technically speaking, the price is still within this bearish trend here on the 2-day time frame, forming lower highs and lower lows. But of course, during a bearish trend, we can see short-term bullish trends or short-term bullish reliefs during a larger bearish trend. So of course, that's what we're seeing in the short term. Clearly, in the short term, we are bullish, seeing a bullish relief during a larger bearish trend. That is the current situation, but the larger trend could flip bullish if we see a breakout above that level right there, once again at around 68,500, give or take. And like I said recently here on the channel, if we break out above that level with candle closes on these larger time frames above this previous high, basically at around 68 to 69,000, then in that situation, we'll likely see a move in the price of Bitcoin to above $80,000 in the following weeks or months if we first break out above that level, which right now, once again, we have not clearly done as of right now. But with that being said, taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart right here, and this is the US dollar index, also known as the DXY, and right now this is still crashing to the downside, and as the DXY is crashing, this is technically a bullish signal for Bitcoin and crypto, as we've seen time and time again. And now, obviously, this is not a 100% perfect, accurate indicator that works all the time. Of course, there are some times where these two might be moving slightly in the same direction for short periods of time. But with that being said, when we're seeing these major moves in the DXY, oftentimes the price of Bitcoin moves in the opposite direction. And so in other words, while we're seeing this crash in the DXY, once again, we're likely going to see, at least in the short term, more of a bullish relief for the price of Bitcoin here in the short term right now. And the last time we saw a crash this large in the DXY was back here during late October, entering into November, even entering into December over those few months back then. And if we're looking at the price of Bitcoin during those same months near the end of 2023, obviously we saw a major surge to the upside in the price of Bitcoin while that DXY was crashing. And right now, we're basically seeing the same thing in the DXY, and we're only just beginning to see more bullish price action here for the price of Bitcoin. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart just recently over the last 1 to 2 days, obviously we've seen a confirmed breakout above this level of resistance, which was sitting at around 62.8k approximately. And right now we still have a little bit of short-term resistance at around 64,500. So keep that in mind. That is the short-term resistance that I'm currently paying attention to. Once again, at around 64,500. But if we can see a confirmed breakout above that level, and ideally flip that level into new support again, then in that case, we'll likely see a move up towards the next area of resistance in between around 67,000 to 68.3k. And that is a very significant area of resistance. Because first of all, if we're looking at the price of Bitcoin, previously this has been significant resistance for the Bitcoin price. And if we're looking at the volume profile indicator or VPVR indicator, as of right now, this is showing a massive amount of traded volume acting as strong resistance in between around 67,000 to 68.3k. And so this is another reason why we actually need to see a breakout above around 68,500 to 69,000 in order to flip much more bullish again on the larger timeframes here, the larger trend and momentum. Because obviously, while the price of Bitcoin is below around 68,000, we still have this strong resistance being held above us. And so it's likely that the price of Bitcoin will struggle around that area before we eventually see any breakouts. But in the meantime, while that resistance is still there on the chart, of course, just in the short term, we're still within this short-term bullish relief as of right now. So the short term is still looking more bullish than bearish, but this is occurring within a larger bearish trend. At least for now, that is the current situation until something else changes. And as for support, we should now be expecting some support at around 63,000, give or take, and more support in between around 60,000 to 61,000. And if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously we can see just recently over the last 1 to 2 days, we saw this breakout above this horizontal line of resistance, which was sitting at around 61.8k, give or take. And so this now means that we have an active ascending triangle pattern breakout right here. And an ascending triangle pattern is known as a bullish pattern. And especially if we confirm a breakout, obviously that sets up a bullish price target for the pattern. And if we're measuring out that technical price target for this ascending triangle pattern for this breakout right here, which is confirmed, this sets up a technical price target at around 69,500 approximately. And so from the point of the breakout to that technical price target, that was a total of a potential 12% move to the upside, give or take. And to where we are right now, we've already moved around 3.5% to the upside, or from where we are right now to that price target, that's still potentially around an 8 to 9% move to the upside. And so this could be a potential trading opportunity. But with that being said, as of right now, for a long position opportunity, this is currently a high risk trade, considering we have already seen a decent breakout above this resistance. And also we are running into a bit of short-term resistance right here. And even if we break out above this resistance, we also have this significant area of resistance in between around 67 to 68,000 that is currently sitting between the current price and this price target. And of course, resistance can potentially prevent the price of Bitcoin heading towards this bullish price target. Even though it's an active bullish price target, of course, it's not the only thing in the world that exists. We need to pay attention to other factors in the charts that can affect the price of Bitcoin, like resistance. And so in order to reduce the risk of this potential trading opportunity right here, as always, we cannot eliminate 100% of risk. There's always going to be some risk involved. But in order to reduce the risk for this long position opportunity right here, ideally, if we see some sort of retest or at least a bit of a retracement to basically retest this previous resistance, and if we hold above this area, that could potentially be a great entry. As always, not personal financial advice. I'm just letting you know what I'm thinking, what I might be doing with my own money, and I don't know your personal financial situation. And once again, I am not saying that that will happen. I'm saying that if that happens, I will take that as a trading opportunity to accumulate a major long position if we retest this previous resistance and flip it into new support. Once again, I'll take that opportunity if it happens, but I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. And so for now, I am still in a very small Bitcoin long position as of right now that I did actually enter at some lower prices, which I shared on the channel back then when I was entering that trade. But as of right now, it's still a very small Bitcoin long position that I've just held over that time right here. And once again, I would look to accumulate a lot more of a Bitcoin long position, basically add a massive amount to that position if we see some sort of retest here, which we might not end up seeing. And if we don't end up seeing that, that's perfectly okay, because I'm still holding a small long position and I still have a lot of Bitcoin in cold storage as well. And so that's just giving you an insight into my Bitcoin trading strategy, what I'm looking for in the price of Bitcoin to potentially enter a major long position. And if it doesn't happen, then obviously I'm just leaving things as they are with my current strategy with a small long position as of right now. And ultimately, those are the price targets that I'm watching and the areas of resistance between now and that price target that could prevent the price going towards that price target, where we're likely going to see the price struggle around those areas of resistance along the way. And in case you're wondering, this bullish price target in this breakout in this pattern right here would invalidate if we see a confirmed break back below this line of resistance right here, which is sitting at around 61.8k. So if we break back below 61.8k, then this breakout in this price target would be invalidated. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over over on Bybit, but only if you use the link once again down below this video, and you could potentially win up to $100,000 or some free Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT or trip to an F1 race just by trading crypto using that link. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and we can see just recently we played out a short squeeze, taking out a lot of upside liquidity just recently, exactly as expected, which obviously I've been talking about here on the channel well before this move actually happened. And as of right now, we have some more liquidity to the upside on this time frame right here. First of all, we have a small amount of liquidity at around 65.7k to 65.8k, and we have some more liquidity at around 67,000 and a major level of liquidity just above $70,000. And so those are definitely some important levels to pay attention to, some potential price targets to pay attention to based on these liquidity levels right here. And as of right now, for downside liquidity, honestly, we don't really have a lot of liquidity immediately to the downside until we get all the way down towards around 55.7k and around 54.2k. So as of right now, we don't really have a lot of liquidity, especially immediately below the current price. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now we're still seeing the short-term bullish relief during the larger bearish trend, which I've been talking about for a long time now on the channel, still forming lower highs and lower lows, which is what a bearish trend is. But of course, a larger bearish trend can contain short-term bullish trends or short-term bullish reliefs during a larger bearish trend, which is what we're seeing right now. And as of right now, we're running into this significant level of resistance, which is a Fibonacci level sitting at around 2.8k, which was previous significant support for the price of ETH. And so at least in the short term right now, that is the primary obstacle to pay attention to. But if we finally see a confirmed breakout in the price of ETH above 2.8k, then in that situation, we'll likely see a move back above $3,000 in the coming days or weeks if we first break out above 2.8k, because the next major resistance, at least based on this chart right here, is sitting at around 3.2k. And looking at the 3-day Ethereum RSI, this still has more room to reset before it starts getting back up towards more neutral levels, which obviously I've been saying over the last few weeks. And if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 6-hour time frame and comparing it to the 6-hour time frame, but back here during around March, April 2020, we can still see that at least for now, we're seeing very similar price action at the moment. And based on what we saw back here, we're potentially at the stage right now that we were in right here. And that was just days before we saw a major breakout. So once again, as I explained in my last video, we did see a couple of days of struggle in the short term around that resistance level before we eventually saw a breakout later on, a couple of days later. And obviously over the last one day, we have seen the price struggle quite a bit around 2.8k, exactly as expected. And we're likely going to continue to see the price just in the short term for the coming hours, maybe over the next 1 or 2 days, that sort of time frame. I do expect the price to continue to struggle at around 2.8k approximately. But if history continues to repeat, and considering this ascending triangle pattern is technically a bullish pattern, it is quite likely, as always, nothing is guaranteed, but it is likely that we're going to eventually see a breakout above this resistance simply based on history. And if we're measuring that previous breakout that we saw right here, from the point of the breakout to that next high in the price, that was almost a 20% move to the upside in the price of ETH. And now obviously Ethereum back then was a much smaller cryptocurrency, so we could see much larger moves without seeing massive amounts of money coming into the market back then. But with that being said, if we're measuring out the technical price target for the breakout this time around based on this pattern right here, that would set up a price target at around around 3.3k, give or take, which from the point of the breakout to that price target, that would also be close to a 20% move to the upside. And now, once again, of course, the price does not move in a straight line. We're likely going to find resistance along the way. And remember, we still need to actually confirm a breakout above 2.8k first before that price target actually activates and comes into play. And like I just said earlier, we're likely, just in the short term, likely going to see a little bit more of a struggle around this resistance before eventually breaking out. That is what I'm expecting as the most likely scenario here in the short term. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, right now the price of Solana is running into this major area of resistance based on previous significant resistance in the price and also previous support sitting in between around 159 to 163. So right now that is the resistance to pay attention to. But if we see a confirmed breakout with at least a daily candle close back above around 163, then in that case, at least in the short term, that would be a very bullish signal, and so in that case would likely see a move back up above around 170 into this price range in between 170 to 175, which would be the next resistance. And above 175 we have a major area of resistance right here in between around 183 to 187. And so those are the resistance areas on the chart that I'm paying attention to right now. But as for support, in case we see any sort of major pullback or rejection from this area of resistance, like we actually saw just a couple of weeks ago, in that case, we have this major area of support right here, sitting in between around 139 to 144. And below that area, we have this massive area of support in between 120 to 128. And as for the trend and momentum right now, in the short term, the trend and momentum is bullish. The short-term momentum is bullish, but the larger trend as of right now on this daily time frame is still basically a neutral trend, because as of right now, we're still technically within this massive sideways price range. And once again, the support for this price range is this area in between 120 to 128, and the resistance for this massive sideways price range is basically in between around 183 to 187, and we also have this area of resistance in between around 200 to 210. And so while the price is in between those areas of support and resistance, at least for now, we're still within the massive sideways price range. But of course, the larger sideways price range contains short-term bullish trends and short-term bearish trends. And right now, the short-term trend or the short-term momentum right now is currently bullish. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.